A two-shot lead into the final round of the CJ Cup. Byron Nelson on Sunday. That's after the South Korean carded a 3-under-68 on Saturday. He was unable to match his heroics from Friday, where he flirted with a sub-60 score, but he still put in a solid showing, and his two-shot advantage is ahead of Wyndham Clark and world number one Scotty Scheffler.
Has made 5 alterations to the side held to a draw at Brentford as he keeps an eye on the Conference League final next week. Canvo, Lacroix, Wharton, Mitchell and Jeremy Pino drop out of the starting 11. Klein, Lerma, Hughes, Cardines and Devaney all come in. Mikel Arteta, meanwhile, has made 9 changes to the side that defeated Burnley 1-0 last time out, with a Champions League final bout against Paris Saint-Germain also on his mind. Max Dowman becomes the youngest ever player to start a Premier League match, while Christian Mosquera and Ricardo Calafiori are the only players to keep their places. So the lineups in full. For Palace, it's Henderson in goal, a back three of Klein, Lerma and Riyad. Munoz, Kamada, Hughes and Cardines are the midfield four, with Sarr, Devaney and Strand Larsen the more forward-thinking players. For Arsenal, it is Kepa in goal, Calafiori, Hincapié, Norgard and Mosquera in the back four. Lewis Skelly, Zubamendi and Dowman on a midfield three, with Martinelli, Jesus and Madueke leading the line. Arsenal have ended their 22-year wait for the Premier League title, and their trophy celebrations will take place at Selhurst Park as they visit Crystal Palace. Eagles boss Oliver Glasner has made 5 alterations to the side held to a draw at Brentford as he keeps an eye on the Conference League final next week. Canvo, Lacroix, Wharton, Mitchell and Jeremy Pino drop out of the starting 11. Klein, Lerma, Hughes, Cardines and Devaney all come in. Mikel Arteta, meanwhile, has made 9 changes to the side that defeated Burnley 1-0 last time out, with a Champions League final bout against Paris Saint-Germain also on his mind. Max Dowman becomes the youngest ever player to start a Premier League match, while Christian Mosquera and Ricardo Calafiori are the only players to keep their places. So the lineups in full. For Palace, it's Henderson in goal. We'll leave that there because we are now underway for this, the final game of the Premier League season between Crystal Palace and Arsenal. Crystal Palace in their home strip today of the red and blue striped shirts, playing from left to right. Arsenal, the champions select. They are in their away strip with the white shirts and dark red shorts, playing from right to left. It's myself, Will Maxwell, and Matt Guy taking you through this one. Zubamendi has possession at the back for the Gunners. I will just run you through the lineups once again if you did miss them in the earlier preamble. So for Palace, it is Henderson in goal, Klein, Lerma and Riyad in the back three, Munoz, Kamada, Hughes and Cardines in the midfield four, with Sarr and Devaney supporting Jurgen Strand Larsen up top. For Arsenal, it is Kepa in goal, Calafiori, Hincapié, Norgard and Mosquera at the back, Lewis Skelly and Zubamendi the holding midfielders, with Martinelli, Max Dowman and Noni Madueke supporting their lone striker of Gabriel Jesus. As I mentioned, I'm joined in the commentary booth today by Matt Guy. And Matt, what are we expecting from this contest?
An unusual encounter, I think, Will, with all those changes that you mentioned. Who knows what 2 teams are going to turn up, as you mentioned as well. 2 European Cup finals right on the tip of the calendar for both sides. Their eyes will be on that, but they'll of course want to just finish this season in some positivity, sun shining of course in South London. Arsenal, you've got to look at them. Yes, these players, some of them not always in the team sheet, they'll want to impress today and just finish with an absolute cracker at the end of the season. But yeah, I almost feel like I'm sitting on the fence there, Will. I don't know what to expect, but I'm going to go with an Arsenal win just.
Yes, I mean, both these sides have a European final to watch out for next week. Arsenal in the Champions League against Paris Saint-Germain. And that is after Crystal Palace take on Rayo Vallecano in the UEFA Europa Conference League in their first ever European final. A historical day for the Eagles, which is probably why so many changes have been made to the starting 11 for both of these sides, as Max Dowman takes a tumble but wins a throw-in for his side on the far right-hand side. We'll keep up to date with all the goals as they go in all 9 of the other Premier League games. Obviously all kicking off at the same time, 4 p.m. this afternoon. A lot of eyes will be of course, on the relegation battle where one of either West Ham United or Arsenal's North London rivals in Tottenham Hotspur could be going down to the Championship. Tottenham at home against Everton, West Ham also at home against Leeds United. Martinelli finding Calafiori. Back it goes to Piero Hincapié. Arsenal getting more and more of the ball after it was a bit of a bright spot from Crystal Palace. Madueke on the right-hand side, taking on Cardines, held up by both him and Ismail Assar. Comes off the 19-year-old last and goes out for a throw-in, which is taken quickly. Dauman wasn't really alert to it, but he's done well to win possession back. Dauman likely to be one of the freshest players for the Gunners. Wasn't with the squad as they celebrated winning the title in midweek into the early hours, as he had his GCSE exams later on that week, and can only imagine the state of the other Arsenal members of the starting 11, because I imagine they might still be nursing some severe hangovers.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course Dauman not of age yet to be nursing one of those hangovers, but yeah, absolutely, could be one of the fresh ones today. He's such a young player, but promising player, and it's great to see him in the starting lineup. This is the perfect opportunity for him to impress, and of course a lot of talk about international selections for the World Cup upcoming. He will be one that everyone will be thinking for the future. He could be right up there, and I'm sure that Thomas Tuchel, the England manager, of course, has been on the phone with a few Premier League coaches that he would like to see some of them playing. The likes of Madueke will break off.
Yes, opportunity here for Gabriel Jesus, breaks into the area, goes for goal, hits the post, big opportunity squandered. It falls to Madueke, his effort is well saved by Henderson, and the attack breaks down, but the first real bright opening there for the new champions.
Absolutely, and it ended up with Madueke, one of the men that Tuchel will have wanted to see getting some starting minutes today. It's a nice idea of a finish, isn't it, from Jesus? It just bobbles up in front of him, and he shifts his body to try and find the way to find the corner. He just doesn't get the desired curl on it. It just stays a little bit straight, flicks that post, and in the end Madueke just gets solid contact on it. It doesn't exactly find the corner, but Arsenal starting brightly and still on the front foot.
They are down the right-hand side with Max Dauman, who goes back towards Martin Zubimendi. He does look like he's operating in more of a right-back position, but slotting in at holding midfield wherever possible. Calafiori has support behind him in Gabriel Martinelli. Will utilise him. Still no goals in any of the other games currently, although as I say that, it looks like after a lengthy VAR check, Wolverhampton Wanderers have taken the lead away from home at Burnley. In fact, from the penalty spot, Adam Armstrong giving the visitors the lead there. Of course, Burnley and Wolverhampton Wanderers will both be in the Championship next season. Wolves ending the season looking like on a little bit of a high there. So our opening goal of the afternoon has now been scored. That goal coming at Turf Moor. 5 minutes into our game, remains goalless between Crystal Palace and Arsenal. Throw in to the Gunners on the far right hand side, midway in the Palace half. The long throw by Zubimendi, dealt with by Riyad, will fall back into the arms of the Spaniard. He'll take the throw in again, finding Madueke. Back towards Zubimendi, fires it into Jesus. Now with Madueke once more. Miles Lewis-Skelly, Martinelli wants it. Instead we'll go back towards Piero Hincapié. Martinelli again, slowly shepherded by Devaney. Crossfield pass is optimistic. Madueke does well to keep the ball in and hold on to it as well. Drop of the shoulder, tries to get away from Cardines. Does well to just about get a pass off for Max Dauman. Zubimendi, patient build up here by Arsenal, into the area, headed away by Riyad, and then poked away by Will Hughes. It looks like it will be a free kick for the Palace man. For a moment I thought it was a high boot, but he was just slightly caught there by an Arsenal man.
Yeah, a bit of kung fu fighting perhaps from Will Hughes there. It looked dangerous as he went up with the left boot, I think it was. It's almost stomach height, isn't it, the way that he goes. He does win the ball and tries to pull his leg away, but yeah, I'm almost surprised the way that foul's gone against the Arsenal players who went to press him, as we just saw a replay on our independent off-tube studio cameras of that penalty in that clash. Fighting to not be at the foot of the table, Burnley and Wolves today. I think it's the game that we least expected the early goal to come in.
Yeah, that is definitely the true statement there. The sides, or a match between the two already relegated side, didn't really expect to be too much on the line there, but we do have our opening goal as Stratton Larsen has support to his right hand side in Daniel Munoz. A rare foray forward here for the Eagles. Stratton Larsen is down on the deck about 35 yards out from goal. Farah Halam right by the striker, not wanting to blow the whistle yet. Will Hughes stands on it, and it looks like he will now go over to make sure the striker is okay. Looks like it was maybe a collision with Miles Lewis-Skelly, a little bit of a late tackle, but it doesn't look like Farah Halam is interested in showing a card. Looking at the replay here, Yeah, looks like just a little bit of a stud down the back of the Achilles.
Yeah, absolutely. He was dribbling with the ball, wasn't he, Strand Larsen, and he just looked a little bit clunky, I want to say the word is. Goes with his left foot in the end, which does then hit the turf as he strikes it, and Lewis Skelly is just trying to reach forward and nudge the ball away from the big striker before he does connect with it, and unfortunately just catches the Achilles as he goes through, does the young Englishman. I tell you what, it's party town in the away end at Selhurst Park. Not far for them to travel, of course, the fans from North London, and with the sun baking down on top of them, the owners in attendance as well. They are having a joyous afternoon.
Yes, they really are loving life. They'll be looking forward to the trophy lift come at the end of the match. First Premier League title in 22 years for the Gunners, which was secured with the helping hand of Bournemouth in midweek, who managed to hold Manchester City to a 1-1 draw, almost came away with all 3 points in that contest. In fact, they still could, in theory, achieve Champions League football. They do need some results to go their way this afternoon, though, but already they will be in Europe next season, which is such a massive boost to a club the size of Bournemouth, as Max Dowman will look to skip away from Riyadh, finding Gabriel Jesus over towards Madueke. The Brazilian lurks behind him. Madueke drives into the area, tries to dig out a cross, flicked away by Will Hughes, further on by Justin Devenny, picked up by Hincapié. Now with Martinelli back towards the Ecuadorian. Arsenal doing well to hold on to possession, and well, you probably would have expected Arsenal to be a bit more sluggish than they are at the moment, but they really are firing on all cylinders. Dowman with a bit of a stumble, holds on to it, fires it to Zubimendi, awkward pass to Madueke, but he keeps the ball in play. Norgard away from Strand Larsen, who will look to try and press Arsenal up the field. Mosquera, not the greatest of passes there, but Jesus wins it well. Lewis Skelly to Max Dowman, who helps it on towards Madueke once again. Takes on Kamada and Cardines, finds Norgard, who will go for goal from long range. Optimistic effort, wide of the mark, but danger here from Arsenal.
Absolutely, and it's down that right-hand side, isn't it? Madueke has been the main outlet so far. He's interchanged with Saka this season and will do so for England as well in the World Cup, and he's been a bright spark. He's attacking his fullback. Yes, he's a debutant, but when you see that name on the team sheet and you don't recognise it, you've got to try and attack that area, and that's exactly what Arsenal are trying to exploit. On that occasion, Norgard's shot not or just leaving a little bit to be desired, but yeah, Arsenal on top. They're just full of confidence at the moment.
They really are, as Henderson launches the ball forward for Strand Larsen. Great strength by the former Wolves United man, and he fires it out towards Munoz on the right hand side. Maybe a chance here for the Eagles. Munoz finding Devenny, support behind him in Nathaniel Klein, instead goes towards Will Hughes, stands on the ball, plays it away from Lewis Skelly to find Devenny, who immediately is pounced upon by Hincapié. Will go back towards Will Hughes, who'll drop at the shoulder, eventually rolls it towards the left for Jefferson Lerma. Back it goes for Hughes once again on the halfway line. Looks for some support. Eventually will go back for the left for Riyadh, who skips away from Madueke. Hughes over the top to Strand Larsen, headed away by Mosquera. Will fall to Madueke, who will now try and drive forward. There's a 4-on-4 here. It's a lovely pass to Gabriel Jesus, who's broken away from the defence. Big opportunity. Gabriel Jesus, massive save by Henderson, who's managed to smother the chance for the Brazilian striker. Made himself big and claws the ball away.
Absolutely. Dean Henderson making himself as big as possible for as long as possible. Palace trying to play that offside trap. Doesn't work at all. And he just stays up so upright, does Dean Henderson. It's brilliant work from him, but you have to say Gabriel Jesus cannot miss in that situation. He's got Martinelli alongside him if he really wants him. You expect your number 9 to hit the back of the net. He lifts it, expecting Henderson to go down. He doesn't, and it hits the hand.
Yeah, it's a massive, massive save. Arsenal can't believe they're not ahead. They've had their chances. They've hit the post with Gabriel Jesus, who's also now just missed that one-on-one opportunity. Must be getting a tad frustrated now, the former City man. Looks like a Christian Norgard has just clattered Ismail Assar, so that will be a free kick for Crystal Palace, much to the sort of anger of Oliver Glasgow that it wasn't awarded earlier on. Norgard just caught slightly out of position. Free kick for the Eagles. Doesn't look like they're going to go for goal, but they might try and float this into the area. Will Hughes will stand over it. He's got Kamada, Lerma, about 4 other Palace players all making their way in and around the penalty area. Needs to be a good delivery here by the former Derby County and Watford midfielder. I think Strand Larsen is probably going to be one of the main players to aim for due to his height and his aerial ability. Hughes, it's a dangerous ball in, it's headed up by Hincapié. It will be one at the far post by Munoz, who won't try and take it down the wing, instead cuts back and lays it in for Cardines. Turn will find Will Hughes, who skips away from Madueke with ease. Lovely play there by the central midfielder. Klein towards the right-hand side in Munoz. Finds it towards Hughes again, who tried to return the favour. Well blocked by Hincapié. At the moment, there's just no way through this Arsenal back line, but it will fall kindly here to Sarr. On the edge is Devaney. Will Hughes, he digs out across. His effort is well blocked by Hincapié again with his head, who put the pressure on the midfielder. He's not able to keep the ball in play. It will be a throw in, but Palace just getting a prolonged spell of possession here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're fortunate, thanks to their goalkeeper, that they're not behind in this game, and they're just sensing that opportunity. Right, let's just try and counter this and go forward themselves. Oliver Glasner is very animated on the touchline, trying to organise his team, but Cardines perhaps with another trick in his arsenal, so to speak. A long throw-in perhaps.
How long have you been sitting on that one?
I would like to say it was off the cuff.
The long throw-in comes in, is turned away by Hincapié. Martinelli will chest the ball down into the path of Max Dowman, who's got Sport Martinelli ahead of him, and Martinelli's got the pace. Will he get away from Rio Cardines? He's got only him to beat. He gets driven out wide. Fantastic recovery defending by the 19-year-old, who stuck with Martinelli all the way and timed his challenge to perfection.
Yeah, absolutely. Martinelli wanted that ball way in front of him because he had the pace without the ball. As soon as he receives it, he slows down a little bit, just because he's got to control it exactly where he needs. He does hesitate when I thought he still had half a yard to shoot, but just waited that extra second. But yeah, all credit to the young fullback. Brilliant work from him, and racing all the way back from right wing where he took the throw in to left back where he almost made the tackle in the end.
Fantastic play there by the 19-year-old as Hughes spreads the pass over towards the left-hand side for Rio Cardines, who looks up, whips in a dangerous delivery. The header comes in. What a save by Kepa Arrizabalaga. Ismail Assar Daniel Munoz, I should say, stooping low with the header. It looked for all the world that was going to nestle in the bottom right-hand corner, but not before Kepa Arrizabalaga can fling his body towards his right-hand side. That is a stunning stop, Matt Guy.
That's incredible, isn't it? That's right up there for save of the season, isn't it? The reactions to get low down to his right-hand side. He's got his critics as Kepa. He doesn't start over Raya, who, for me, was right up there in terms of player of the season shouts in this season across all the teams. He's got his opportunity today, which will get him, incidentally, a winner's medal in the trophy celebrations later. But what a save that is. That is fantastic. And that has just kept this game level.
It has kept the game level for the time being, but not for we've got the corner kick here for Palace. That is a dreadful delivery, but Lerma's done so well to keep the ball in. There's a bit of pushing and shoving by the goalkeeper on the goal line. Looks like the free kick will be awarded. Lewis Skelly and Strand Larsen having a jostle. By the looks of things, the Arsenal man has won that free kick, and a chance for the Gunners to clear their lines. Looking at a replay, I mean, both sides have their hands all over each other. Yep. Maybe you could argue Lewis Skelly's gone down a tad cheaply. I wouldn't say Strand Larsen's maybe done too much wrong there, but there is a lot of contact between the two.
There's arms across the both of them, isn't there? I think they've probably both got a piece of each other's shirts, and I think he's a little bit off balance, Lewis Skelly, when he eventually goes down and he thinks, I'm just going to take Strand Larsen with me. It's the referee that's decided that the contact in making Lewis Skelly go down was the foul. Yeah, 6 and 2 threes. I think corners and routines, this is not having a dig at Arsenal at all. It's something that the PHMLL will be looking at next season to decide what they want to be a foul and what not, because they've come under a lot of criticism for maybe changing their minds at times, and they want to just nail that one and make sure everybody knows what is and what isn't a foul.
We've got a chance now for Zubimendi to bring the ball further forward for the Gunners. He'll lay it towards the left-hand side in Lewis Skelly. Back over towards Martin Zubimendi, happy to hold on to possession for the time being as they inch their way further up the field. Still inside their own half, now just on the halfway line with Norgard. He'll play it forward to Riccardo Calafiori. Back it goes to Christian Mosquera, almost intercepted by Justin Devaney, but Hincapié will pick up possession, finding Martinelli, returns the favour to Hincapié. Well defended in the end by the veteran Nathaniel Klein, coming over to toe that out for a throw-in for Arsenal deep inside Palace territory. Looks like Hincapié might have taken a little bit of a knock there in that build-up, and that's probably the one thing Mikel Arteta will be hoping to avoid, is that before such a massive game against Paris Saint-Germain, they don't want any player that could potentially start to pick up any form of injury.
Yeah, absolutely. Could be changes at half-time, if not half-time. It'd be very soon into the second half. Should that just be a preventative measure? Norgard here with the long throw into the box.
There will be a long throw into the area. Header away isn't convincing. Calafiori takes off the toe of Madueke, and Daishi Kamna can now bring the ball forward for Crystal Palace. He'll poke it out towards the right-hand side in Daniel Munoz, who looked up, wanted to play a long ball forward, decided against it at the last. They'll have to restart things from the back.
We can't hear what goes on in the box, but I hope that Madueke was screaming at Calafiori then. You've got to demand that ball. He's running onto it. It's a great volley attempt, opportunity. And his attempt would surely have hit the target from 6 yards there, but yeah, it's just taken away from his toe in the end. A frustrating one when they look back at it.
It looks like we have our next goal. Fulham have taken the lead at home against Newcastle United. Issa Diop getting on the score sheet against the Magpies at Craven Cottage. So we do finally have our second goal of the afternoon. It hasn't been too free scoring so far on this, the final Premier League day of the season. Calafiori brings the ball forward here for the Gunners, away from Devaney, and rolls that back for Piero Hincapié. There might be another goal to tell you about, this time at the Etihad, currently being checked by VAR, but Manchester City might have taken the lead at home against Aston Villa. It's Madueke that rolls that back for Christian Mosquera. Now with Hincapié to Lewis Skelly, away from Devaney. Bit of space here for Norgard. Again, we'll decide against playing the ball forward. We'll find Mosquera. Zubimendi to Madueke. Back it goes to Zubimendi. Norgard. Hincapié inside the centre circle. Patient build-up here by the Gunners, but no real danger of progressing the ball. In fact, the high press of Ismail Assar and Jorgen Strand-Larsen has forced Arsenal deeper inside their own half, as Martinelli tries to skip away from Munoz. Well defended there by Palace to frustrate the Gunners. Looking at the options from the bench for the two sides this afternoon, looks like we have a goal at Anfield by the looks of things. Mohamed Salah hit the post. Oh, it wasn't a goal, sorry, I thought for a moment it was a notification.
I tell you what, they're playing up to Salah leaving, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're trying to show anything that could possibly happen. It's a great attempt at free kick. All season long, it's been Dominic Szoboszlai on free kicks, and he's scored a lot, hasn't he, for Liverpool this season? The one day of the year he's not on free kicks, it would be Mo Salah's leaving day. Of course it would be.
Well, we've got a free kick here for Arsenal, about 40 yards out. As I was mentioning, the benches for Palace, it's Benitez, Lacroix, Canvo, Mitchell, Wharton, Pino, Mateta, Gesson and Brennan Johnson. For Arsenal, it's the backup keeper of Tommy Setford, Gabriel, Eze, Erdegaard, Rice, Marino, Saka, Gyökeres and Kai Havertz, all to choose from, as Max Dowman has possession. Been a bit quiet so far, the youngster, over the past 10 minutes or so. Madueke looking to take on Cardines. Rolls it in for Dowman, who heavy touch, loses it to Kamada, diverted away by Nathaniel Klein. It'll be mopped up again by Arsenal to try and start a new attack with Martinelli to Norgard. In for Mosquera. Martinelli again. Patient build-up for the Gunners. Hincapié has Jesus to his right. Instead looks to try and cross the ball into the area. Takes a big deflection, headed away by Cardines. Norgard to Calafiori. Lovely pass by the Italian to find Max Dowman, and now maybe an opportunity here for Arsenal on the edge of the area. Dowman towards the right-hand side in Madueke. He digs that across towards the far post. Gabriel Jesus, he's missed another one. It's another big opportunity for the Brazilian. This one probably the hardest of the lot. He was being tightly marked by Daniel Munoz, who just managed to skip away from, and he just couldn't hit the target with the header from about 7 yards out, but maybe he should have been scoring there, Matt.
That's his third chance. I thought maybe it might be third time lucky, but it's not on this occasion. He's backing off, isn't he? Because he's got to read the flight of the ball, but then that just prevents him from attacking forward when the ball comes to him, and the Arsenal skipper on the day can't angle that one forward towards goal. He's gone down, which is the right thing to do, isn't it? Head the ball down towards the ground, let it bounce up, trouble the goalkeeper, make him use his feet, but yeah, the angle wasn't on the right angle at all that occasion. Frustrating opening 22 minutes for Gabriel Jesus, isn't it?
Yes, it almost certainly is. He's missed so many great opportunities in these opening exchanges. It hasn't panned out for him so far as Antoine Semenyo has put the ball in the back of the net for Manchester City against Aston Villa. That goal now confirmed. Zubamendi brings the ball forward for the Gunners, wants to poke it forward for Madueke, well dealt with though by Devaney, and then Sarr well tackled by Christian Norgard to go out of play for a throw-in for the Eagles. We are at the halfway stage of this first half. It is goalless between Crystal Palace and Arsenal, and taking us through to half-time will be Matt Guy.
Cheers, Will. It's one of those games, end of the season, not too much on the line between these two, but it's been an entertaining one. Could have been easily at least a goal at either side. Palace with just the one chance really. Brilliant save from Kepa, and that kept Munoz out of the goal. Gabriel Jesus could have had a hat-trick by now, but not to be as yet. The champions playing like champions, full of confidence. They have just let the shackles go. They've released that pressure that they've been feeling for 3 or 4 years now under Mikel Arteta. They are worthy of their gold medal around their neck later on, but they've still got another 3/4 of this game to go to see it through. As a long ball forward comes from Calafiori, a diving header in the middle of the park from a Palace player in the shape of Jefferson Lerma. Just sees the ball go back towards their goalkeeper in Dean Henderson, who saved Gabriel Jesus from that 1v1 earlier on. Long ball forward up to Strand Larsen, headed down by Arsenal into the midfield. Good turn by Lewis Skelly, and he's just been tugged back there by Will Hughes as the referee is just going to point towards the sidelines for a moment. The camera pictures just pan towards Mikel Arteta. I just think there's maybe a worry about somebody on the field, whether that be an Arsenal or a Palace player, or whether they're going to have a drinks break because of the weather on this final day. It may be that. I think it is that indeed. Hot weather across the country for the Premier League players to deal with today, and there are a few Arsenal fans drinking from water bottles that are relatively empty, with Manchester City's flags on, or banners on them, badges on them, whatever you'd like to say. So that taunting between the two sides, I think Liverpool fans will understand that as well, from this aspect of fighting with Guardiola for so many years. When you finally get over the line, it doesn't half feel good.
No, it's a massive relief for Arsenal fans to see their side win a title, the first one after 22 years, and well, from the banter and the joking between the two fans, particularly surrounding this water bottle gate, it's good to see that Arsenal fans still can find some jest in it. It looks like Sunderland have taken the lead at home against Chelsea.
Indeed they have. A lovely volley there from Trey Hume. It is into the bottom right hand corner. We saw pictures of Pep Guardiola and Semenyo with that goal to put Manchester City ahead at home against Aston Villa. There'll be plenty of celebrations and whatnot at the Etihad Stadium, with Pep rumoured to be leaving, and Bernardo Silva too, and of course across the northwest over towards Anfield with Mohamed Salah and Andy Robertson leaving. Might still be departures at either club in the transfer window. I'm sure there'll be plenty of action this summer, but Sunderland looking to finish above their local rivals in Newcastle. Of course, this season with a win today would help them on that course. Chelsea in the fight for European places, not the result so far that they would have wanted.
I mean, as it stands, Sunderland would actually be getting Europe at this point with 8th, which would really highlight the unbelievable job that Reggie Labrie and Sunderland have done this season. Many fans thought they were one of the favourites to go down after getting promoted through the playoffs, but they have been such a wonderful watcher this season, and if they do get Europe, it would be their just reward.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty on the offing this afternoon from a European place perspective. Of course, Liverpool needing to seal their own fate by winning today. They're not at the moment. There's Bournemouth, of course, and they're on their heels. Aston Villa losing to Manchester City. That has potential for the Premier League to have 6 Champions League spots this season, but I suppose that's a conversation when we see a little bit more of where things are going later on this afternoon as we reach the second halves. But for now, it's 27th minute and the game is back underway at Selhurst Park after that drinks break, so at least 2, maybe 3 minutes of added time at the end of this first half, plus any stoppages there may well be for goals, injuries, substitutions and the like. Arsenal coming forward from halfway. Hincapié receiving the ball on the left hand side, drops it back into Lewis Skelly, who's just dropped between the two centre halves, trusted on the ball, the youngster, out to the right for Mosquera. dart inside from Zubamendi. Looks for the Spaniard, does Mosquera, doesn't quite find him, but Arsenal quick to pounce on things. As soon as they lose anything, they've got that determination to win it back. Lewis Skelly out to the right-hand side. Arsenal coming forward through Dowman. He's got Kamada short, goes short into Norgard, forward into Jesus, just inside the box, flicks it down the line. Norgard again, dinks it back straight into the hands of Dean Henderson in the Crystal Palace goal. A good move once again, though.
Yeah, really, really bright move. Been really impressed despite his finishing today. Gabriel Jesus' link-up play has been absolutely sublime. It's what Arsenal have missed at times this season with his injury issues. It can be sort of forgotten how good of a striker Gabriel Jesus actually is, and they're really clever little ball to Christian Norgard, who for me just makes the wrong cross. He needs to hit that hard and low to cut it back. Instead, he just tries to dink it, and it's a very comfortable gather for Dean Henderson in the end.
Yeah, the only saving grace I could suggest for him is perhaps he was aiming for the back post to go over the goalkeeper. If that is the case, he got it wrong. But here's Madueke, one of the bright sparks as well for Arsenal this season and this first half. It's to the edge of the box. Martinelli onto Calafiori, back to Martinelli, and it couldn't quite squeeze through to the Italian on the left-hand side as Devaney looks to break for Palace down the right-hand side. He's waiting for some support. Munoz eventually makes a move, darts out to the right-hand side of him. Devaney to the left-hand side for Kamada. They flicks it on down the left then for Cardines. Just the one shot today, as we mentioned, for Palace, but a wonderful save it was from Kepa to keep the ball out the back of the net. Flicked on for Palace and headed away. Ismail Assar just keeping the ball to himself. The Senegalese, as Jefferson Lerma picks the ball out of the skies and knocks it back into the feet of Riyad. Down the left for Cardines again, looks down the line, a willing runner there in the shape of Justin Devaney, looking to take on Norgard, goes for the cross himself to the far post. Calafiori headed back in by Munoz, down to Hughes, into the box for Strand Larsen, and the referee says foul against Daniel Munoz for a hit on the back of the head there of Ricardo Calafiori. He's just had a drinks break, but a knock on the head can certainly mean in this weather you just have a little bit of stars spinning around your eyes. We'll just see a replay now, Will. It's one of those, he does connect, doesn't he, with the Italian as he knocks the ball away, and I think right decision.
Yeah, definitely the right decision. It's an unfortunate one for Palace because it looked like a bright move for a prolonged period, but it is just clashing through the back there of Calafiori as Ebere Eze is warming up down the side of the pitch for Arsenal. He's getting a very warm reception from the Crystal Palace faithful, who still hold him so high in high regard.
Yeah, absolutely. When you think of some of the attacking players that Palace have had down the years, of course, in recent years, modern times, you'd say it starts with Wilfred Zaha, but Eze and Elise and some of those players really hitting the top level of the game, aren't they? Elise could himself have been in the Champions League final against Arsenal should Bayern have squeezed past PSG. Wasn't to be on that day. So yeah, Eze, no wonder he's getting a warm reception. QPR to Palace to Arsenal and England as well, and hopefully more trophies to come this summer from him. As Palace now playing through midfield, comes into the feet of Lerma to Riyad, goes back to the goalkeeper, has to nutmeg Lerma, and Dean Henderson looking left, looking right, and not seeing too much of an option because Arsenal are pressed way up the field. They go long up to Strand Larsen, not too much of a surprise. Flick on goes towards Sarr. I say towards Sarr, had to chase it, and it's hammered away then by Kepa at the back for Arsenal. And I think there's not too much warming up needed when the weather is like this, but Eze, he's got full right to just keep warming up all afternoon long if he's not going to get onto the field. Yeah,
he'll be lapping up the praise from the Palace fans, even if he doesn't get onto the field of play. But I imagine he will be brought on for a bit of a footballing romance at the end of this season.
You would have thought so, as Calafiori battles well in midfield for Arsenal. 31.5 minutes into this game. 1-2 with Zubamendi, the Italian, back on the ball once again. Looks to his left, finds Hincapié. Everybody back for Crystal Palace. Not too much movement at this exact moment for Arsenal, but Mosquera feeds it out to the right-hand side for Madueke. Just gone quieter in the last 5 or 10 than he was in the opening quarter of the game. Mosquera out to the right again. Zubamendi into the feet of Norgard. It's wrestled away by Palace, fed forward towards Devaney, flicks it round the corner. Too much on that one. And instead fires it at Mikel Arteta, who's still got a touch on him from his Arsenal and Everton days. He knocks the ball down to one of his team and can quickly take the throw in. Just to repeat around the grounds, it's Still Wolves 1 up at Burnley and Fulham 1 up against Newcastle. Manchester City leading at home against Villa, as are Sunderland at home against Chelsea. And it looks as though a goal may have gone in at Forest, as the home side have taken the lead against Bournemouth. Has Champions League ramifications, of course, but here are Palace breaking forward. Sarr down the line, looking forward. Deveni takes a little bit of a tumble sword. Strand Larsen, and there's never enough contact in that for it to be a penalty. More of a slip, and then when the contact came, it was so slight that the slip only needed a little bit of encouragement.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a penalty. It is just an unfortunate slip from Jørgen Strand Larsen. They really struggled to get at this very much makeshift Arsenal back line. They really should be going for the jugular a bit more, but Arsenal, even with their celebrations in midweek, they look really comfortable on and off the ball at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's when you create this sort of aura around a team in terms of everybody knows this Arsenal team is so solid at the back. Even if you take out Gabriel and Saliba from the heart of it, and fullbacks, you can argue all day who are the best fullbacks and who's available, who's not available. Sometimes just having that, and everybody knows that this is a solid team, it helps the confidence of those who then come in. And the fact that Arteta and his coaching staff have created this structure at the back, which is so well coached, it is so solid, it means that anybody can come into the side and feel confident. They know exactly their job. As our studio-based pictures just pan away for a moment, we see Forest's goal. It's a free kick, and a lovely one at that. Morgan Gibbs-White taking out frustrations, saying, I'm here. He smashes it bottom left-hand corner, and he's a frustrated figure, isn't he? He's not being called up by Thomas Tuchel. Equally so, Manchester United might have taken the lead away at Brighton.
It looks like Fernandes has broken the assist record there. His corner kick, Dorgu header.
Yeah, another set piece where he's got an assist. I think 8 from open play and something like 15 or something now, or 14 from regular play. I'm not a Manchester City fan, by the way, but De Bruyne had one stolen away from him by the PGMOL, if I remember correctly, and I'll still fight that corner. But he's the heartbeat of that Manchester United side, isn't it? Bruno Fernandes. As the long ball forward comes from Palace, swept up easily by Hincapié, back to his goalkeeper in the shape of Kepa. Kepa now to Calafiori, pressed well by Palace, goes down the line, it's intercepted well by Nathaniel Klein, who today is reaching a milestone of his own, 400 league appearances for Nathaniel Klein. Of Southampton and Liverpool, of course Bournemouth for a season, and then Crystal Palace. He's a player that's been a real stalwart around the Premier League this last 15 or so years. Still got life in the legs as well.
A very underrated player, Nathaniel Klein. I think it's easy to forget how bright of a talent he was due to his injury issues that he had over the past, 5 seasons or so, really. It looked for a while that he might be one of the main starters at right back for England, but his injuries have seen him lose that cutting edge of his pace. That was part of the main reason why Liverpool brought him from Southampton, but even with how much he's played now and his injuries, he's still a top-class player. Maybe not as good as a wing back as he used to be, but he's so good down that back line now.
Absolutely, experience helps as Arsenal come forward down the right side. Madueke cuts inside, ball deflected off the toes of Riyad. Just hangs on to it though and plays a quick one too. Tell you what, the confidence over there between Riyad and Cardines was fantastic. They got Sarr involved as well, and here comes Nathaniel Klein at the right of that back three today for Crystal Palace, and he's got Daniel Munoz in front of him. I have to say, Daniel Munoz, he's been fabulous this season, hasn't he? He's really hit the heights at right full-back, just ever running, constant engine down that right flank for Crystal Palace. And it wouldn't surprise me for a few touting for his signature this summer. As Deveni on that side just cuts inside. 36.5 minutes gone, still goalless at Selhurst Park. Not too sure how. Both sides have had their chances and both goalkeepers have done well. Klein on the right hand side for Palace inside the Arsenal half. Ball drops back then into Will Hughes. Inside to Lerma. Looking forward, just has to drop it back. Lerma in the middle of that back three. Former central midfielder, that's where he's made his name. Dropping back now, got that experience and know-how to spot danger and to orchestrate the defence. He fires it into Japanese in Daichi Kamada. Forward then into Defeni, gets a nudge from Mosquera. Referee says foul. Mosquera pleads his innocence, and sometimes you can get away with a nudge like that, but I think the extended arm was a little bit of a giveaway.
Yes, it was a bit, and Farai Halam is not a referee that's going to miss a decision like that. It's quite an obvious foul in the end. It's a bit of a gift for Palace, who can now look to try and float this ball into the area to try and get a rare foray forward. They've only had one meaningful effort. That tested Kepa Arrizabalaga. They need to start peppering the Arsenal goal more.
Yeah, absolutely. Deveni was going almost nowhere, was he? And suddenly they get themselves a set-piece routine. Just the one shot to note. So kept out by Kepa. Will Hughes needs to be a bit better with the set-piece routine than some of the set-piece routines have been today from Palace. It's floated in by Hughes towards the far post. Kepa comes out and confidently grabs with two hands before Jefferson Lerma could get anywhere near that one. And Ricardo Calafiori heard him coming and got out of his way to make it a little bit easier too. As now with Zubamendi on the ball in the middle. Goes into the feet of Lewis Skelly. Out to the right, sorry, now it's Zubamendi. It was Norgard before. Norgard receives again, this time from the Spaniard, as the former Brentford man looks for an avenue. It's well structured in their midfield at the moment. Mosquera, again, time on the ball. Strand Larsen is not that pacey striker up top that's going to press you all day, but as soon as the moment spots, Deveni straight on the heels there of Norgard. He's able to win the ball back. Selhurst Park in good voice. The crowd very supportive of the home side. Season never really been in the picture in terms of the relegation zone, have they? They've had a positive season from that sense. As Arsenal coming forward, Martinelli looking for an avenue, dinks it over towards Madueke, chests it down, tries to flick it round the corner. Palace having to hack this one away, and eventually do, but only after a few attempts of pinball just inside their own box. And once again, Arsenal will just settle on the ball. It's at a rhythm now, isn't it? It's at a pace where I think everybody is comfortable with just taking that foot off the gas a little bit.
Yeah, I think the heat is definitely playing a part in that as well. The speed of the game has taken a dip, and they're just trying to conserve energy wherever possible so they don't get too fatigued. Obviously, with a World Cup coming up, if you do get fatigued on the final day of the season, it gives you that chance of maybe picking up an unnecessary muscle injury or muscle problem, and plenty of these Arsenal players in particular will be looking to make their way to America, Canada and Mexico, so maybe not really surprised that the tempo has taken such a heavy dip.
Absolutely, but this is almost good warm weather training, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a hot World Cup, that's for sure. It's Crystal Palace break forward. That's so sloppy from Strand Larsen. Had a good break there. Plenty of his teammates have burst forward as now Arsenal come back the other way. Ball to the left hand side for Calafiori. Down the line is Jesus, but he dinks it out to the right. Taken down by Madueke just inside the Palace box. Comes back to the edge, clipped in, deflected. Calls for a handball. It's been nicked off the toes of the defender, Cardines, and nobody wants to clear it. I think everybody was just waiting for the referee, but Arsenal play on. That's the sign of a champion team. Here's Madueke, cuts inside twice on his left foot, looks to strike third time lucky, this time blocked away by Hughes. But Arsenal will recycle once again. I think everybody is just waiting for a decision to be made.
Yeah, we haven't had any replay for that tumble from Max Dowman to see if that was a penalty or not. He was sort of hoisted back onto his feet by Jefferson Lerma whilst the attack was still going. But yeah, the whistle never blew, but everyone, in particular in Palace, just stopped moving. They were expecting a whistle to be blown that never came, and Arsenal maybe should have done a little bit better there.
Absolutely. It's Madueke out to the right once again, drop back into Zubamendi, quickly has to nick it towards Dowman on the edge of the box. Here is Lewis Skelly, left to Nkapie. 4 minutes to go of this first half, plus added time. There will be some added time thanks to that drinks break, and of course the clock doesn't stop for a drinks break. Here is Nkapie. Easy ball left to Calafiori. Palace set again in their defensive formation. Everybody inside their final third. Inside for Lewis Skelly again, looking confident on the ball is the teenager, trying to take it then at any opportunity. And left again to Martinelli, who will cross actually over the halfway line into his own half. Back with Mosquera. Munoz followed Gabriel Martinelli all the way. He's left him now because he's drifted to the other side of the pitch. Martinelli stab forward to Jesus, right-footed strike, and this time he hits the back of the net. It's not third time lucky, it's fourth time lucky with what was probably the hardest opportunity.
It really was, but he's deserved that. He's had a fantastic performance so far in these opening 40 minutes. And it's a wonderful finish from Gabriel Jesus, firing it into the bottom left-hand corner. Henderson gets a touch to it, but he can't get strong enough of a wrist to keep it out. Big goal there for Arsenal. But at the moment, it looked like they'll be ending the season not only as champions, but with a victory as well. There is also a big goal to tell you about. Tottenham have taken the lead at home against Everton. João Palhinha scoring in what could be a goal. That could be the one that keeps them up.
Absolutely. Goals for both North London clubs, and Dean Henderson, for all the plaudits I gave him earlier for stopping Jesus. There is a little deflection actually just seeing this one. I think he does the typical striker's thing, Jesus, and tries to go across goal, and Klein gets a little nick on the ball. Maybe that wrong foot's the goalkeeper, but for me it's got to have a stronger wrist, but he doesn't keep that one out. And as you say, Will, Spurs with a goal, that's their job today, isn't it? Spurs just have to win and they can forget about West Ham United and they will stay in the division. Goal right at the same moment for both North London clubs. I think some Arsenal fans would be happy to lose today if it meant that Spurs go down. We're just seeing a replay now. It's a header on goal and it cannons back from Palhinha back to himself off the post, and he follows it into the bottom left-hand corner, and there's a release of energy there at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as we see a replay of that on our studio-based pictures as Palace just keep the ball in through Daniel Munoz, and he wins it back once again as Palace looking to come forward and answer straight back against Arsenal. Crossing opportunity from the right-hand side, it gets floated towards the far post, it's gone over everybody, and Arsenal should be able to shimmy that one wide. Cardines goes down. I think he might win a free kick there as we then pan across London to the West Ham United fans inside the London Stadium, and they look devastated. That news travels fast.
Yeah, it really does. And for all intents and purposes, it looks like West Ham started their game against Leeds really brightly, but Leeds have dug in deep defensively, frustrated them, and beginning to get on top, and on knowledge of that goal will really dampen the mood. But they need to do their bit. They need to make sure that they find an opener from somewhere, West Ham, and then they've just got to hope that Everton can do them a favour.
Yeah, absolutely. Think about yourself first before you think about anybody else. And Daichi Kamada has got to improve in the corner routine from the same side he took earlier in this game. 45th minute, Kamada whips it in towards the near post, as the ball is headed towards the far post by an Arsenal head, I think in the shape of Zubamendi. Kamada wins it back, but he gets too much on it, and it goes out for a throw-in on the far side for Arsenal, and they will be able to clear as Brian Mbeumo has scored for Manchester United, puts them 2-0 up away at Brighton, and will kill any outside chance that Brighton had of a potential Champions League spot. That means that we've got a goal in every single game other than that West Ham United game where Leeds are holding the relegation candidates out at the moment. 3 minutes at a time is the adjudication at Selhurst Park, and will be Palace on the front foot for the first of those minutes. Cardines out to the far side of the field as we look at it to launch the ball into the box. There's a couple of men in front of the Arsenal goalkeeper. It's spun in towards the penalty spot, eased the head of the way by Mosquera. Madueke can't quite control Klein under pressure, chests it down. Great pressure from Martinelli, just about towed away from him by Nathaniel Klein, but it was only just. That was brilliant from Martinelli, showing his pace on that occasion. Hughes out to the left for Sarr, takes it down under pressure, does well to just hang on to it for now, waiting for some support. Feeds it forward to Strand Larsen, controls edge of the box, fires it to the left for Cardines. Right footed cross comes in, bounces at the penalty spot, hammered clear by Arsenal, put back by Crystal Palace. And here come Arsenal once again. It's sped up all of a sudden this game, but that one has cut out. I tell you what, that is one of the things that I am so glad I'm not a defender in Premier League football, is knowing that Gabriel Martinelli is chasing at you 100 miles an hour and you've got to play it to your goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's absolutely rapid, is the Brazilian. He's such a dangerous player once he is on form. When he's off form, he can be quite easy to play against, but today he looks really up for it, and the way he is hustled and harried, in particular Nathaniel Klein, it's been a joy to watch.
47 minutes on the clock. Klein coming forward down the right, looking for a cross to the far post. That's too much on it, and Zubimendi is going to see that one out for a goal kick on the far side. Just seeing some replays of Dauman early in this game. Dauman with the flick onto Martinelli, a back-heeled flick as well into the middle of the park, and Martinelli then fed the ball through into the channel for Jesus to hit for that Arsenal goal. It's the pass, the pre-assist, or whatever they put it down on the assist on the stats these days. Dauman making an impact, and the Arsenal fans absolutely loving it as well. Jesus with the captain's armband on today, taking that responsibility up top, hitting the back of the net, and joining up with some of the younger teammates in the side. Fed down the right hand side by Zubimendi, forward into Madueke, right on the stroke of half time here. Can Arsenal nick a second and really go into half time with a solid commanding lead? Madueke down the right again. He's been doubled up though by two Palace defenders. Drops it back into Zubimendi. Inside to Norgard. Just shimmies on the ball for a second. Square he goes. All eyes on the referee. He says that's enough for the first half. A first half with both teams having chances, but Arsenal, the champions, showing their champions' pedigree. And Gabriel Jesus, fourth time lucky, hit the back of the net. At half time at Selhurst Park, it's Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1.
Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa Arrizabalaga from the head of Daniel Munoz. But at the moment, it is the Gunners who are on top. Half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. The deadlock broken by Gabriel Jesus on the fourth time of asking. Missed three really brilliant opportunities in the 40 minutes prior, but he made the breakthrough after being found by Gabriel Martinelli. His snapshot took a big deflection, wrong-footing Henderson, who despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Palace have only really had one opportunity, but it did force a fantastic save by Kepa.
We'll leave that there because we're now underway for the second half of this Premier League encounter between Crystal Palace and Arsenal. 1-0 to the Gunners after the first period of 45 minutes. That goal coming from Gabriel Jesus, and there have been plenty of changes at the half-time interval for Palace. They've made a triple change. Dashi Kamada, Ismail Assar and Daniel Munoz have all been replaced. Turek Mitchell, Adam Wharton and Yeremy Pino all onto the field. And Arsenal, they have made a double change. Gabriel and Kai Havertz on to the field of play. Ricardo Calafiori and Christian Norgard, the two that have come off. So the lineups then in full for Palace. It is Henderson in goal, Klein, Lerma and Riyad in the back three, Mitchell, Wharton, Hughes and Cardines in the midfield four, with Pino and Devaney supporting Strand Larsen up top. For Arsenal, Lewis Skelly will now drop into the back line with Gabriel Hincapié and Mosquera. Kepa in goal. Zubamendi will be the holding midfielder. Dauman, Havertz, Martinelli and Madueke will support Gabriel Jesus up top. It's myself, Will Maxwell and Matt Guy taking you through this one. And Matt, your thoughts on those changes?
Yeah, interesting changes. A couple of them absolutely make sense, don't they? The likes of Munoz and Sarr coming off for Palace. They've therefore rested players, and it means that they're available for the European Cup final. Other ones we were just discussing, maybe a bit of a risk bringing Gabriel on centre half. There's the outside chance that he picks up an injury, that sort of thing, but it just freshens the game up, doesn't it? Some of the players want to keep minutes in the legs for next week, albeit there's that risk, so it'll be an interesting one to see if it changes the second half. Arsenal were on top, of course, and good value for their 1-goal lead.
Well, it looks like Ollie Watkins has equalised for Aston Villa at Manchester City, and Sunderland have doubled their advantage at home against Chelsea. We'll get confirmation of that second goal for the Black Cats in just a moment, but we do have a corner kick here for the Gunners. Martinelli's ball towards the far post. Havertz with the knockdown looking for Madueke, and he manages to fire it into the back of the net. Awful start for Crystal Palace. Brilliant start to the second half for the Gunners, and it's Noni Madueke who manages to convert from just inside the area through a crowd of players.
Absolutely, and good news for England fans and Thomas Tuchel, of course, another player with a goal and coming into the World Cup with some good form. It's a great left-footed strike, isn't it? Set-piece routine, you expect it from Arsenal. Jesus blocks the man, does well to stay strong. Havertz nods it back, and Madueke, under pressure, you have to say as well, does really well to get good contact on that, and knocks it through a sea of bodies into the bottom left-hand corner. The opposite for what Crystal Palace wanted. If they were going to stay in this game, an early goal in the second half was exactly what they didn't want to see. But what their defending was doing in terms of, they can see where the Arsenal defenders are, the attackers are. They've left 3 of them at the back post with 1 defender. It's not good defending, but it's a good finish nonetheless.
It is a good finish from Noni Madueke. Looks like that second goal for Sunderland was an own goal from Malo Gusto. It's also now 3-0 to Manchester United. They have just got a third at Brighton, awaiting on confirmation of the goal scorer there for the Red Devils, but goals now coming thick and fast across the games on the final day of the season. But wonderful celebrations in the away end for Arsenal. They definitely would have wanted to end the season, even with lifting the Premier League trophy. They wouldn't have wanted to end it on a draw or on a defeat. So this is exactly what they would have been looking for.
Yeah, I don't think anything could have popped or burst the bubble, but it would have just put a little dampener on the celebrations, especially when the sun's out and you've not had to travel too far across London to finish with a victory and really seal the deal of the season. Would have been absolutely fantastic. And of course, as well, any difference you can create in terms of points at the end of the season is a boost as well, because Manchester City are not winning now at home against Aston Villa thanks to Ollie Watkins' goal, and that just increases the fact that the argument of saying what a fantastic season Arsenal have had.
Yes, it really has been a fantastic season for them. It's a really poor own goal we've just seen from Malo Gusto for Chelsea at Sunderland. It looks like Bruno Fernandes has scored for Manchester United to make it 3-0 there for the Red Devils. We're waiting on this long throw-in for Crystal Palace on the far right-hand side. It's not a bad delivery in. Flick on by Jefferson Lerma. Falls to Riyad, lifted into the area. The header on by Yeremy Pino. Can't get it on target. It goes out of play for what looks to be a goal kick. Much to his chagrin, he thought it took a deflection off of an Arsenal man, but it will be a goal kick for the Gunners, as their off-tube studio pictures focuses in on the set-piece coach for Arsenal, Nicolas Gova. Yet another corner kick goal. He might be one of the most important non-players for Arsenal.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a feature at Aston Villa as well, of course, isn't it? It's something that's been a key point of this season, and Arsenal have identified that before the season. They've trained it over the summer, last summer, and they've spotted that opportunity. This is where we can score goals, and they've absolutely nailed it. You can only, as a team, react to what the rules that have been put in front of you, and every team had the opportunity to spot that there was maybe weaknesses in the rules that meant that you could be more physical in the box. and they're the team that have done it best, and they're fully deserving of the fact that they've won games because of goals scored through set pieces. Yes, it's a large proportion, but that's just the way that this season's gone. Every season has a narrative, and set pieces is this season's.
Here is Gabriel for Arsenal, finding Zubimendi as it works its way back towards Lewis Skelly. As Dowman ahead of him, Zubimendi to his right utilises the Spaniard, who tries to dink it over the top for Madueke. The clearance by Lerma cannons into Madueke, forced to Gabriel Jesus. Lovely skill by the Frenchman. Madueke remains down on the deck. Dowman gets the ball out of his feet to find Zubimendi. Jesus towards Mosquera. Madueke still in a bit of a spot of bother on the far right hand side. This could be a cause for concern for both Arteta and Thomas Tuchel, as Havertz gets it out of his feet to poke that back for Gabriel. They'll continue with the attack though for the time being, the Gunners. 51.5 minutes gone. Remains Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 2. Havertz rolling it back for Mosquera. Zubimendi to Max Dowman. Madueke is back onto his feet. Dowman takes a tumble. No foul, says Farai Halam. And now advantage being played in favour of Crystal Palace, who will break down the right-hand side here with Tarek Mitchell. He has to stop and cut back, and he'll find support in Riyadh. Looking for movement ahead of him. Has to go towards Jefferson Lerma once again. Lerma finding support in Jeremy Pino. Adam Wharton towards the right-hand side for Palace. Lovely play by Calafiori to come over and take it off of Jeremy Pino, but he's one possession back. Now a chance for Strand Larsen inside the area for Palace. He gets a strike away, tight angle over the crossbar. Would have taken something very special to beat the goalkeeper from there.
Absolutely, Mosquera does well, doesn't he? Just to cover across and cover that angle. Cardin is over that far side, linking up well with Wharton and getting Pino involved. He purposely feigns the shot first as Strand Larsen. That means Mosquera has to go down to ground the second opportunity, but he does so in a manner that means he cuts off the angle. And the only way that Strand Larsen could have scored there was by hitting the inside of the roof of the net, and the goalkeeper was likely to always be able to cover that one in the shape of Kepa, and not to be on that occasion for Crystal Palace, as we see Jesus penalised for a bit of rough and tumble with Jefferson Lerma.
Yes, it was a slight push there by the Brazilian, as Jeremy Pino's pass takes a big deflection, well won by Nathaniel Klein. Devaney tries to flick it on for Strand Larsen, who is adjudged to have fouled Miles Lewis Skelly. That'll be a free kick. Looks like we've got another goal, this one for Bournemouth. They've equalised away from home at Nottingham Forest. The goal scorer there looks to be Marcus Tavernier, lifting it into the back of the net. Also looks like Chelsea have half the deficit away from home at Sunderland. Cole Palmer getting on the score sheet for the Blues. So goals still coming thick and fast across the ground. Still only 2 games in the 10 Premier League matches that are without a goal. That is Liverpool against Brentford at Anfield and West Ham against Leeds at the London Stadium. As it stands, West Ham still going down into the Championship. They need to take the lead against Leeds and hope that Everton can turn things around at Tottenham. But from all intents and purposes, it looks like all the belief has dissipated from the London Stadium. So the only real way that they're going to be able to take the lead is if they hear of an Everton equaliser, you would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's these afternoons, final day of the Premier League season, can sometimes just peter out into nothing, can't they? Because it just needs somebody to land a blow. And at the moment, nobody quite is doing. And the same goes for the jeopardy at the top of the table, because Brentford are level with Brighton, but not at the moment ahead on goal difference. So that if they just get a goal against Liverpool, just to squeeze ahead of them, then that also has implications for the likes of Bournemouth, who are losing and whatnot in terms of Champions League. But it puts Brentford into a European place and keeps them ahead of Brighton, who are pretty much out of it now, having losing 3-0 against Manchester United. It's got to that point now, closing in on the hour mark, where it's waiting for those final rounds of the heavyweight boxing match for somebody to swing.
Yes, it definitely is. It looks like we're having a bit of a stoppage here whilst Adam Wharton gets some treatment. Took a bit of a nasty tumble from a collision with Miles Lewis Skelly, who's getting seen to by the physios. Of course, missed out on the England World Cup squad, Adam Wharton, one of the players that you could feel were most hard done by the selection, alongside the likes of maybe Harry Maguire and Morgan Gibbs-White. But he is slowly getting back onto his feet, and he should be able to continue. It was a bit of an innocuous collision, no studs to ankle impact, but it was definitely a nasty one for him nevertheless.
Absolutely, and I think another man who's not too happy with Wharton's exclusion from the England squad, probably Steve Parish. If he'd had a good World Cup and started every game, I think there's an extra naught added to his price tag if somebody was to put in an offer this summer, as there are rumours that they may well do. But yeah, a little bit of a knock for Wharton there. Hopefully okay to continue. He has only just come on at half-time, of course, but yeah, we just have that pause in play at the moment, and it looks as though there could be other things happening around the ground, and one of the games that hasn't had a goal is the Liverpool game. Getting reports something may have happened there. We'll have to await confirmation of that.
We will, but one thing we can give you is confirmation of an equaliser for Burnley against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Zian Fleming getting on the score sheet at Turf Moor for the hosts there. But it does look like Liverpool have taken lead against Brentford. It is not a final day goal for either Andy Robertson or Mohamed Salah, but it is a very big Liverpool fan favourite in their own boy of Curtis Jones getting on the score sheet there for the Reds. So definitely some happy faces at Anfield as Max Dowman has possession for the Gunners. He rolls it over for Hincapié. Support on the left-hand side for Martinelli. He digs out a cross. It's a dangerous one. Jesus tries to rise highest. Well defended in the end by Tariq Mitchell, getting his head onto it. He diverts that out for what will be a corner kick for the Gunners.
Absolutely. Just seeing a replay of that Liverpool goal. Very muted celebrations. I think Mohamed Salah's got the assist. Curtis Jones maybe aggrieved with his current position at the club, but we'll wait to see if there's a VAR check. Maybe they don't think that it's going to stand, but yeah, Arsenal right in front of their travelling support. Absolutely great to be in that sort of a position, isn't it? You know, you've sealed the title, you've got yourself a goal already in Noni Madueke, and now you can take the corner kick. What a moment.
Yes, big moment for the Gunners. Can they make it 3 as well? They've hardly been free scoring this season, but they can end the campaign with a comprehensive victory. That will obviously be much of the joy of the Arsenal fans. The corner kick is just about dealt with by the Palace defence. Lovely tracking back there by Gabriel Jesus. It falls to Jeremy Pino, who throws a lovely pass into Strand Larsen. First time pass out towards the left-hand side for Devaney. It's got Cardines and Strand Larsen in the middle. Tries to whip in a ball to the full-back. It eludes him, and that will comfortably go out of play for a throw-in for Arsenal on the far side. It was a dangerous breakaway. Does Strand Larsen make the right decision with the layoff? Should he have held on to it and maybe laid it off to Cardines on the right?
Yeah, perhaps. They don't seem like they've been in sync going forward, have they? They've only had that one effort on goal that's actually challenged Kepa, and Strand Larsen with the other one that went over the bar. Yeah, maybe he's thought about it a little bit too much and maybe should have laid it off to the youngster. It's not too surprising in that, as I say, they've been a bit disjointed.
We've just got a replay of that goal from Curtis Jones. It was very muted celebrations. Jones did think he was offside, but by the looks of things, the goal has stood. So Liverpool are currently beating Brighton. Not Brighton, sorry, Brentford, I should say, as Mosquera has possession for the Gunners. And a short little 1-2 to Lewis Skelly. Looks like Chelsea are down to 10 men away from home at Sunderland. A straight red card, as it also looks like Aston Villa have taken the lead at Manchester City. I mean, if the title race went to the final day, that would have been a massive result, but as it stands, it's probably not as surprising as it maybe could have been. We're just waiting for confirmation of that red card for Chelsea, as we're also waiting for confirmation of the second goal for Aston Villa. But you know, it looks like the second half is definitely more entertaining than the first in the majority of games.
Yeah, absolutely. And Aston Villa, they're just riding that wave, aren't they, of absolute joy at the moment. VAR will have a double check. The only implication it has in terms of around the grounds is Liverpool's position in terms of the top 5, but also is there going to be a 6th place for Champions League? It would seem not if Aston Villa win. As for Chelsea and red cards this season, boy oh boy, they've had disciplinary issues right around the team. Talking about bubbles and being popped, they had a bit of a bubble last season, and suddenly bang it goes, and they've really struggled in this last 10 weeks or so of the season.
Yeah, it looks like it's a second yellow card for Wesley Fofana is what the red card is, as we're now seeing some more changes being made. So first of all, for Arsenal, Max Dowman has run his race. His name will be sung from the heavens by the Arsenal faithful. It looks like Mikel Merino will be the man that comes on in his stead. We are also seeing a change being readied up for Crystal Palace as well, which we'll get confirmation for you once that is confirmed to us. But Dowman, he's had an all-right performance today, but he did go missing on a fair few occasions, which is maybe understandable considering his age.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just a kid at the end of the day, isn't he? But he had to build up to the first goal. The first goal is always the most important if you're able to keep a clean sheet, of course. So, yeah, he's been involved in that sense. He's tried to link up the team. It's not necessarily some of the starting players that he would expect to be playing around. Should he have been dropped right in that first 11, the likes of Declan Rice or Martin Odegaard or Saka, whoever. But yeah, he's had an okay performance. I think he can look back positively. And Merino back is definitely positive as well. He might not start in the European Cup final, but he's certainly an option now for Arteta.
Oh, this is big though for Crystal Palace. Adam Wharton, who came on at the half-time interval, he has had to go off because of that collision with Miles Lewis-Skelly, and it's Evan Guesson that has come on in his stead. So that is a real cause for concern as the effort comes in from about 25-30 yards from an Arsenal player, comfortably gathered by Dean Henderson.
Yeah, absolutely frustrating that for Adam Wharton, and yeah, Arsenal once again looking dangerous as they go forward, as they to just shimmy Palace away. Kepa coming out of his box and getting good contact on it as it's picked up then by Tyrant Mitchell. Will bring it forward as we're seeing Ollie Watkins with a fabulous finish against Manchester City. 2 for him today. He's finished this season fabulously and certainly earned his place in the England team. As we're just seeing a replay, and Andy Madley pointed to the spot and said it is a goal after the VAR offside check. Meanwhile, Jürgen Strand Larsen again in the thick of it at Selhurst Park, just having a chat with referee Farai Halam, not getting the decision, and Arsenal knocking the ball, or will knock the ball around from the back after a short free kick and an equaliser.
Yes, it looks like Brentford have equalised. Kevin Schade has scored the goal for the Bees at Anfield, so it's Liverpool 1, Brentford 1 as the current score, but goals flying in around the grounds in the second half as Mosquera rolls it over towards the left-hand side in Gabriel. 63 minutes on the clock in our game. You're listening to unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 2, the current scoreline, as Madueke gets away from Riyad, but he's done so well to tackle back there the Palace defender and launches the ball forward. Strand Larsen manages to bring the ball down, but can't quite get away from Mosquera. Now with Guesson to find Jeremy Pino. Skip away from his marker, rolls it towards the right hand side. The effort comes in from a tight angle from Rio Cardines, never looking likely of testing Kepa Arrizabalaga. I mean, they're getting openings, Crystal Palace, but you can't say any of them are real meaningful opportunities.
No, not at all. I mean, Gabriel Jesus had a lot of meaningful opportunities first half. None of these have struck the same ilk. I think he just saw his name on the back page, didn't he, there? Yeah. The debutant fancies himself with a goal on his first appearance first start for the club, but yeah, not on that occasion. A true opening as Arsenal come forward through Merino and Jesus.
It's Merino, of course, back from injury for the Gunners as Madueke loses out. Mitchell, has he been bundled over there by Gabriel Jesus? He has. That will be a free kick awarded by Farai Halam, so another chance for the Eagles to launch this forward into the danger area. A goal back for them. Maybe there's a bit of a nervy finish for the Gunners. At the moment, Palace don't really show any signs of intensity to try and claw their way back into this contest, as Lewis-Skelly has acres of space inside his own half. Will roll it over towards the far side for Madueke. That's a really poor pass though by the Arsenal winger. Doesn't find Mikel Merino. Now has a chance for Jeremy Pino to bring this ball further forward for the Eagles. Ball over the top looking for Mitchell, headed away by Zubamendi. Madueke twists, turns. Has he done too much? He has lost out to Will Hughes. Then Lewis Skelly's done very well to win the free kick under minimal contact from Jorgen Strand Larsen. And Lewis Skelly's just staring up at Strand Larsen. Won't utilise his hand to get up, and he'll just waste some valuable seconds.
Yeah, exactly that. I think Madueke took the ball, turned quickly, didn't he? Didn't know where the Palace man was nearest to him. Tried to play that pass and put Lewis Skelly in some trouble. Does well to win the foul in the end. It's a lot of huff and puff at the moment, and that's not just because of the weather. For Crystal Palace, they're struggling with any sort of a press at the moment, and that's just allowing Arsenal as much comfortability as they want on the ball at the back. And boy, is it comfortable. There's nobody anywhere near them on the halfway line, and I suppose in looking at it like that, that means for Arteta's point of view, there was no risk bringing Gabriel on. If there's no press, then he doesn't really have to sprint for much.
No, not at all, as Mosquera has possession for Arsenal. Twists inside and finds Mendy in for Marino. Any support on the far left-hand side if he can be found. Lewis Skelly will go towards Hincapié, now with Gabriel Martinelli taking on Rio Cardines on the right-hand side. Back it goes towards Zubimendi. Now with Jesus, who just about gets away from Devaney. He's had a fantastic game so far. The Arsenal captain for the day, and he'll get the ball back from Madueke, and his effort is blocked by Jenny Riyad, and that will be another corner kick for the Gunners.
He's a busy bee, isn't he, in and around the box. Gabriel Jesus starts on the left-hand side, drives inside, then makes a run in that right-hand channel and creates half an opportunity. I don't think the Palace defence know exactly who should be tracking him at any one moment, because he just seems to be everywhere, and he's been the key man up top for Arsenal. He's the one that's created the gaps in the Palace defence for the likes of Madueke and Martinelli to exploit. Gabriel now on, of course, an extra set-piece threat, as if they needed another one.
No, they really didn't need that extra one, but there is going to be delivery in by Madueke, headed up rather than away. Pino helps it on, but it is eventually a foul, as it looks like Devaney took a tumble in the build-up. There is a big goal. West Ham have taken the lead at home against Leeds United. Tati Castellanos getting on the score sheet. Now all eyes will very much be on Tottenham, and you just wonder if that goal is just going to increase the nerves around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, even though currently they technically have a 2-goal cushion.
Yeah, absolutely. From the neutral's perspective, that's exactly what we needed. That's the heavyweight punch, isn't it? West Ham creeping ahead. Spurs fans, we see them on our studio pictures, just checking their phones, now look a little bit nervous, now get a little bit quieter. That will certainly feed through the players, who will now know that they have to hold this lead.
Yes.
And potentially, do they then think, do we need to double our advantage
to
try and get ahead? But of course, the more you go forward, the bigger the gaps come in defence.
Of course, and with the position they're in, they can afford to draw, and they would still stay up. So the question is, do they sit back and invite that pressure, but try and hold on to that lead, or do they try and go for the jugular and get that second one? It's a massive call for Roberto De Zerbi.
Yeah, it's a huge scenario, because that old phrase about London buses comes round, doesn't it? You concede one, it's level. All of a sudden, you're on the back foot, feeling even more pressure, and around come Leeds United, or sorry, not Leeds United, around come the other teams and just hit you on the break, and yeah, it's double jeopardy, isn't it? You don't quite know what's going to happen, but from the neutral's perspective, absolutely this brings life into the game now.
Yeah, really does, as we have a break for some drinks in this second half. It means we are at the halfway stage of this second period. It is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 2, and taking us through to full time for the Premier League campaign for these two sides will be Matt Guy.
Cheers, Will. I'm about to see this game out, the final game of a title-winning season for Arsenal. It's the first time that I've probably been able to even speak those words. I don't think I could have spoken those words the last time that Arsenal won the league, maybe just about, as the fans inside Selhurst Park absolutely delighted. The 2003-2004 season, and when you do win the league, your name goes down in history. We can all rattle off those names, the likes of Henry and Bergkamp, Pires, Ljungberg and Vieira. That's just the midfield, never mind some of the defenders as well. And some of these players have written themselves in the history books, and Arsenal fans will cherish them forever. Of course, there's always the question of, can you do it again the next season? But that doesn't matter right now. It's all about enjoying these final 20 or so minutes left in this game. and sealing this victory at Selhurst Park. Dean Henderson will have the ball for Crystal Palace from that free kick after the drinks break, and he will knock this one forward for the Eagles. A challenge in the air to come. Strand Larsen gets a toe on that one. It comes back down to him. Just looks to turn it around the corner, but drops it back instead into the feet of Cardines and into the feet of Lerma. Riyad stepping forward, back into Lerma again. It just runs past his toe and has to turn back towards goal. Long down the right-hand side, the right-hand channel, looking for Gesson. He's barely touched the ball so far. He's wrestling with Gabriel, gets his body in front of the ball, and he will be a star for Brazil in this World Cup. He's so solid, and he knows exactly what he's doing in those scenarios. Never looks troubled.
No, he's such a combative defender, which is exactly what you need at this level. He's strong. He's never going to shy away from a one-on-one duel. And well, Gesson, he's got pace and he's got strength. He's a difficult player to hold off, but he's done so well there to do so. As Marino adjudged to have fouled Will Hughes in the build-up there, so a free kick for Crystal Palace.
Yeah, he just caught him, did the Spaniard, as Bere Eze on the sidelines, just getting some instruction. So it will only be a matter of time before the former Palace man comes on at Selhurst Park to celebrate his league win with his new side. Will Hughes will be the man to take this free kick for Crystal Palace, as just to note, Mohamed Salah will exit the field at Anfield, get a standing ovation as Frimpong comes on for him to see him off, the Egyptian, for the final time for Liverpool in the Premier League. As Arsenal with a corner kick now. And Havertz, the man winning that one over on the far side. Will be the German to take the front post position in terms of defending this corner. Will Hughes comes out the left foot to take in swinging corner to come. See if Crystal Palace can just make this an interesting final 15 to 20 minutes. The added time factored in. Two hands go in the air. It is curled in towards the 6-yard box. There's a man racing onto it, and Arsenal head gets there first though, and out it goes from Madueke for a throw-in on the near side of the field as we watch on. Arsenal solid and resolute as ever at the back, as our studio-based pictures do pan to Anfield and Mohamed Salah's departure. He's been an icon of not just Liverpool but the Premier League as well since he joined the club at the start of Jurgen Klopp's tenure. Throwing comes in from Palace, flits towards the other side of the box. It's won by Martinelli. Now Arsenal have a chance for a break. He's got Havertz just in front, but Palace have got good numbers back. But the Brazilian keeps going, head down, chasing down line, gets past Klein. Left-footed crossing opportunity, dinks it back to Havertz, controls, shot on goal, and a wondrous block. Body on the line, Tyree Mitchell stops a certain goal.
Wow, that is absolutely unbelievable defending by Tyrick Mitchell. What a brilliant breakaway from Martinelli, who it looked like he'd just come on as a substitute rather than starting the game with his energy there. Blitz down the left-hand side as we're just seeing a yellow card being shown to an Arsenal man for a foul on a Palace player. Looks like Gabriel Jesus being shown the yellow card there, but he did so well to keep the ball in play, cut the ball back slightly behind Havertz, which meant he had to take the touch to set himself up for the strike, but take nothing away from the defending there from Tyrick Mitchell.
Absolutely, just threw himself expecting the shot from Havertz, and it came as well. The German, if you're going to be super critical, don't need to be on a final day of the season when you've already won the league, should have been hitting the back of the net there, as Gabriel Jesus just pulled his man back, a cynical foul to give away, and that's why the yellow card came out for him, and that will be his final action of not just this game but his season as well. He's the man that's going to depart here for the aforementioned Ebere Eze, and no doubt he'll get a standing ovation as he comes onto the field, the Englishman, and he does so now as the captain's armband goes from one Gabriel to another, as Gabriel Magalhaes this time will pick up the armband. And yep, everyone in Palace colours on their feet, giving Eberechi Eze a warm applause as he enters the field. Long ball forward for Palace now for Jørgen Strand Larsen, just holding off Mosquera, is waiting for some support. Mitchell is the nearest one to him, does receive the ball now. Pino's there too, and Mitchell comes back instead into Riyad. And on halfway now with Palace once again. Still 3-0 to Manchester United away at Brighton. 1-1 between Burnley and Wolves at the bottom, the foot of the table. Fulham winning 1-0 against Newcastle. 1-1 between Liverpool and Brentford. 2-1 to Aston Villa away at Manchester City. Goal apiece for Forest and Bournemouth. Sunderland still leading Chelsea by 2-1 and will finish above their local rivals with that. And Tottenham leading and West Ham leading at home against Everton and Leeds respectively, both doing their job to avoid relegation. The problem is for West Ham is that they have to rely on Everton to get something back, 2 goals back against Spurs. 15 minutes to go around the grounds, and 15 minutes to go for Arsenal's fans to celebrate inside Selhurst Park, a 2-0 victory and a title. The game's life has just slowed down a little bit as Palace with the ball at the back. Down the line they go into the feet of Gesson, looking for a run down the line, finds it in the shape of Cardines, goes down to his knees, stays up as he picks himself back towards Gesson, breaking into the box, cuts it back, deflected corner.
Yeah, lovely break forward there by Evan Gesson and Crystal Palace in general. Fantastic running, quick passing from side to side to carve open the Arsenal defence, and Gesson, just that final ball, had to get it right, but it was being tightly marked, and it does cannon off an Arsenal man before going out of play for a corner kick. We are seeing a change for Palace. Jorgen Strand Larsen, here's Race's run, and it's the tall, imposing figure of Jean-Philippe Mateta that comes on in his stead.
Absolutely, like for like up top, of course, and the iconic tucked-in shirts of the Frenchman. He's had a fantastic couple of years in Palace colours. He's really stepped up, and if I'm not mistaken, has made the French World Cup squad as well. In doing so, left-footed in, swinging corner to come from Will Hughes again, towards the front post, punched into the air by Kepa, and under no pressure, it's Merino, eventually invites the pressure from Will Hughes, knocks it back to Gabriel, who will smash that one clear. And that was just 2 men of different stature, wasn't it? There was no way that Will Hughes was ever getting around Mikel Merino.
No, it was a very much man against boy there. Will Hughes did not have the power and strength to outmuscle Mikel Merino, who was just so calm under pressure, waited for Gabriel to be in space before rolling it back to him to make the clearance. So easily done there by the Gunners.
Absolutely. Palace on the ball once again inside the centre circle with Riyad to the veteran incline. Down the right then Cardines can't find his man, or he does find Pino, but he's fizzed it at him, away from him, and Pino is never going to be able to keep a hold of that one. And Arsenal with the ball at the back again as goalkeeper Kepa comes short into Mosquera. Havertz dropping in into Madueke, into the feet of Merino, played as that makeshift striker a number of times this season, as has Havertz, both on the field now. Both going to keep rotating for Arteta. And Havertz fires that one back at Mosquera, square into Lewis Skelly in between the centre halves. Mosquera stepping forward with the ball, no cross-field option available, so goes short to Zubamendi, right back, inside then into Merino, back heel from the Spaniard into a fellow Spaniard again in Zubamendi. From the Basque region goes inside as Lewis Skelly into the feet of Nkapie, into Martinelli, looking to skill down the line, gets past Cardines with absolute ease, left foot across to come into the far post, Madueke challenging, headed into the air by Palace, it's then fired forward by Havertz, flicked over the bar, and hands on the head for Mikel Merino. Can't believe he's missed the target.
Yeah, massive miss there by Mikel Merino. It's a miss hit from Kai Havertz, so in fairness, you could say that Merino isn't expecting the ball to come to him, but it's not coming at him with a great deal of pace. Yes, it bounces up in front of him, but he should be at the very least hitting the target there. Really poor miss.
Yeah, all created though by Gabriel Martinelli on that left-hand side. Yes, he's up against a youngster, a debutant in Cardines in this second half, but he's had to get past Nathaniel Klein on a couple of occasions too. And has to be said, he's been a real bright spark for Arsenal today, as we're seeing a replay now of West Ham United coming forward and hitting the back of the net for the second time this afternoon. It's Jared Bowen. He's hammers through and through, isn't he? Jared Bowen these days, and into the left-hand side net and puts them 2 to the good. And boy oh boy, are they hoping for something from their former manager in David Moyes away at Tottenham, but it's just not coming, is it, Will?
No, I mean, the one sort of saving grace that West Ham could really have here is that because of a technical issue with the fourth official's microphone, Tottenham's game kicked off 5 minutes after theirs. So there's still a little bit more time for Everton to score twice in that game than what could have been, but it's looking incredibly unlikely at the moment that there is going to be a nervy ending for Tottenham. At the moment, they're holding firm.
There's going to be a lot of eyes on the scoreline, isn't there,
yes,
when that one just keeps rolling on for a little bit longer. And boy, will that create some tension at Spurs as they look to hold out. Mikel Arteta on the sidelines, I tell you what, he cuts a figure of a man who's still in a title race. He's still got that furrowed brow, he's still concerned, he's still trying to work out the tactics. His team are leading 2-0 with 9 minutes to go away at Selhurst Park, and they've already won the title. But that, I suppose, is the professionalism that you have to have at the top level in that position. As Palace coming forward, playing it down the right-hand side. It's half cut out by Nkapie, but Gesson gets there next. Eze is pressing his man, he gets a touch on the ball. I think that might be his first touch on the ball, actually, Ebre Eze. As out it goes for Cardines for a throw into Palace on the right-hand side. Throw-in comes back into Nathaniel Klein, and the referee has stopped the game and asked the medical staff to come onto the field to treat Noni Madueke. Went down, of course, 15 minutes or so ago inside the Palace box, and the game continued, didn't it? And he got back to his feet. Now he's holding his hamstring. Now that might just be a little twinge in the warm weather, or that could be a more serious issue. I hope for him that it's the former, but the medical staff certainly giving him some attention. And Farai Halam is going to walk over and check too, as eagle eye in the back of the screens. Victor Gyökeres is looking like he's going to come onto the field for Arsenal as well. It would just make so much sense just to swap those two players right now, wouldn't it? I think that's just the obvious.
Yes, it definitely would be to just rest Madueke, make sure it doesn't make any injury than he might have any worse. He is looking like he is going to make his way off the field of play. He has had a fantastic performance, Noni Madueke, as it looks like there's a warm guard of honour for Bernardo Silva coming off the field for City as well.
Yeah, there's plenty of emotion everywhere, isn't there? And these Manchester City and Liverpool went at it, didn't they, for 5 seasons or so before Arsenal got involved in their title races as well. Yeah, Bernardo Silva and John Stones both looking like they're waving goodbye to Manchester City, and Andy Robertson as well at Liverpool. Salah, Robertson, Silva and Stones, 4 key men in those title races that we saw, and plenty of emotion as those 4 depart. As so does Noni Madueke, just for this game though. For Arsenal, he's replaced by the Swede in Victor Gyökeres, who comes on up top for Arsenal. A change that it wouldn't maybe have necessarily wanted to make if Gyökeres is potentially going to start in the Champions League final, but he should be able to see out the final 7 minutes of this game plus stoppage time with no problems whatsoever. Over on the right-hand side of the field for Crystal Palace, it's a throw-in for Cardines, launched into the box, easily headed away by the Brazilian Gabriel, and Cardines comes back inside then as the ball is not forward or attempted to be done by Tyree Mitchell, but it's been blocked and chased down by Gyökeres, who's now racing onto the ball, bearing down on the Crystal Palace box, cuts to his right hand side. Mitchell comes across shoulder to shoulder, does well, good recovery, pays. But I tell you what, that for Mitchell was all his own doing. Yes,
it really was, but he did well to recover, and I think he's managed to win the goal kick as well. Gyökeres' first impact since coming onto the field of play. He's got pace, he's got some strength, but it was a bit of an awkward moment there for Tyree Mitchell.
Absolutely. Searching long ball attempt when you've got a fresh striker that's just come onto the field chasing you down. Blocked it on, and the Swede couldn't quite get there. Just over 5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 2. Still Tottenham Hotspur 1, Everton 0. To nullify any meaningful event of West Ham beating Leeds by 2 goals to 0 on the final day. Laid off by Arsenal into Martinelli. Great pace down the right hand side this time. Ball stood up into the box. Stood up. straight into the hands of Dean Henderson, who does really well to come out. I must say, not being too critical of Oliver Glasner's tactics in this game, but Martinelli has looked even brighter when he's been up on the left-hand side against Cardines. And Palace switching the fullbacks, of course, when Mitchell came on for Munoz, has not helped Cardines in that situation. But to reverse that, Arteta has now put Martinelli on the right up against Tyrick Mitchell.
Yeah, it would be an intriguing battle for the final 5 minutes to see how Martinelli could do there. Of course, Mitchell a bit more fresh-legged than Martinelli in these dying embers, but he's such a direct runner of the ball, is the Brazilian, that any fullback could struggle with him on his day.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got such pace, he gets his head down and launches forward, as he may well have to do again, as Gyökeres picks it up this time. Havertz runs past him, he's in the middle channel, tries to feed it through the legs of the defender, can't quite do so, but he picks it back up again. Here's Martinelli on the right hand side, he's looking for an option, he's running into a little bit of a dark corridor and has to turn back into Zubimendi down the right hand side, finds Mikel Merino this time, feeds it through, searching ball, cut out though at the heart of defence by Crystal Palace, as Jefferson Lerma is the man, and Mateta gets a touch on the ball. I think that's the first time I've said his name since he came on.
Yeah, sort of forgot that he was brought onto the field of play there, Jean-Philippe Mateta, isolated ever since he has made his way onto the field of play. Of course, this might also be his last game in last Premier League game, I should say, in a Crystal Palace shirt, and this will be his farewell to Selhurst Park. But he's struggled since he's come onto the field. He's been well marshalled by the Arsenal backline.
Here's Gyökeres down the right, foot in from Lerma, and I think he might have just towed it back off the Swede. He has, and won a goal kick in the end. It's a promising channel run just cut out there for Victor Gyökeres. Dean Henderson will take his jolly time just to take this goal kick. Not to suggest that Crystal Palace are not trying, but it's almost as if this game has been done and dusted. You often get this in the final game of the season. You often see it when two teams are drawing and they both just need a point, and they end up just passing the ball around, lumping one forward, and then the other team passes it around. But not to be on this occasion, with Arsenal leading 2-0. Gabriel with a huge header forward, back over the heads of the Palace defence from the goal kick from the Eagles. As Riyad goes long to Mateta, headed down well by Mosquera into Lewis Skelly. Zubimendi now feeds it forward, but it's been half cut out, picked up in the end by Riyad, goes short into Devaney in the middle of the park, and Devaney looking square, finds Hughes under pressure from Martinelli, ever willing runner in the Brazilian, out to the left for Cardines, in Yeremy Pino, as he knocks it back to Hughes. Simple passing at the moment. Mitchell back inside to Pino, curls it towards the far post, flicked on by Mateta, and he's in between the goalkeeper and the defensive line, and there is the Frenchman to nod home.
Well, that's why it was brought on. He's got that physicality and that ability in the air. Wonderful flicked header by the Frenchman. Ariz Balaga, you could argue, was caught in no man's land there. Half went to try and claim the cross. Wonderful delivery by Yeremy Pino. I think Mateta is onside, but it's a fantastic header into the back of the net, and maybe a bit of a nervy ending here for the Gunners.
Yeah, just perhaps, and that's just such great striker's work, isn't it? Over the top of Mosquera there, Jean-Philippe Mateta, and in that position all you need to do is just touch the ball, isn't it? You don't need to get any sort of an angle on it really, because the ball's going to do the work for you. And gets a clap from Oliver Glasner. And tell you what, there's going to be some frustrated defensive coaches and defenders in that Arsenal side. Yes. Who will have wanted to add to their list of clean sheets, although we're going to check for an offside now through VAR. We're also checking at the Etihad. Phil Foden scored in the 90th minute, but that one could be chalked off through VAR, so we'll bring you confirmation of both as and when we find the results. That would be Mateta's 50th Premier League goal, and it stands at Selhurst Park. So Crystal Palace 1, Arsenal 2 it is in this one. I suppose half an opportunity for Palace to nick this at the end of the game. I'm not saying it's any incredible prediction or anything. You asked me, Will, I said Arsenal would win this just. I think they've done more to deserve this than just win it. but at the scoreline as it stands, it's just one goal.
Yes, it is just one goal. They would have hoped to win by a greater margin. It looks like the second goal for Man City has been chalked off by VAR as well, so they remain 2-1 down at home against Aston Villa. We're also about to see how much added time there'll be at the end of this game before Arsenal can begin to celebrate lifting the title. 7 minutes of added time. Now that is a surprise.
Yeah, the drinks break was taken when Madueke went down, wasn't it? So almost a second drinks break. So 2 minutes for that maybe, but I suppose plenty of substitutions. But some were done at half time as Pino breaks forward for Palace. Shot blocked, comes back to him, strikes again, hits the back of the net with a second attempt, and out of nowhere, Crystal Palace are level.
Well, where on earth has this come from? I mean, Arsenal can't quite believe it. Yeremy Pino, that is a wonderful strike, but how it falls back to him is very fortuitous. But on the swivel, launches it into the roof of the net. And I tell you what, there's still time for a winner here.
Absolutely there is, absolutely.
Oh, what's happened here? Has it been chalked off? It looks like the linesman has chalked off this second goal.
Absolutely, all of a sudden the celebrations are dampened and Pino puts his shirt over his head. Just going to see a replay of it now, just to call it as it went in. Pino gets the ball from Hughes, he strikes it once, it deflects off Mosquera and Luis Skelly, comes back to him, he volleys it towards goal, and I think they might suggest that Guesson was in an offside position, and it does, I think it comes off his chest. It's not just a case of whether it's in the eye line. Kepa is actually calling for a handball. I just think the fact that it touches Guesson means that it's going to be chalked off because Guesson was standing in an offside position. Going to see another replay here, Will. Double deflection, back to Pino, strikes it. Does it hit Guesson? I think it does.
Yes, it does. It definitely takes a slight touch. It's incredibly unfortunate for Crystal Palace and for Yeremy Pino, but just the slight graze of the touch on Evan Guesson means it just has to be chalked off.
Yeah, there's all those discussions, aren't there, about offside, whether in the goalkeeper's eye line, are you making a play for the ball, all that sort of stuff. That does become a little bit subjective at times. This is not subjective at all. It's touched him. It has to be called offside. Great goal from the linesman. He cannot see from his angle whether the ball has moved because you can only see that from a straight on angle. He's looking at it from the side. It's a great call, it has to be said, to call that one. And we're already 2 minutes gone in added time at Selhurst Park, and a header comes in from Lerma, wins the ball in front of Gyökeres. Corner kick will be given from Farai Alam. It's 10 minutes of added time at Anfield has been added on. And these games, there's still jeopardy in them because Brentford score, that puts them into a stronger European place. It then obviously questions whether Liverpool are getting top four. All of it comes into play. Of course, that would have been a huge goal for Manchester City in terms of solidifying Liverpool's place and maybe even bringing somebody else into the question for Champions League football. So still plenty of time around the grounds for things to happen. And as we just seen, within 2 minutes, one team can score twice. Of course, one was called out for VAR, but Arsenal here with a corner kick from the left-hand side of their attack. Right-footed in-swinging corner towards the back of the post. It curls straight out of play and will be a goal kick for Crystal Palace. As Mikel Merino had absolutely no chance of receiving the ball at the far post. That's been one of the features of Arsenal's season, is not just scoring from set pieces, but the delivery has been fantastic. A lot of that, of course, is Declan Rice, isn't it? Yes,
Declan Rice on one side, Bukayo Saka on the other, neither on the field today. So there's always going to be a little bit of a dearth in quality from set pieces as they comes forward.
Yeah, feeds it to the right for Marino, tries to dink one through. Referee's saying absolutely not to a handball shout. I think it definitely strikes the hand of Mitchell. I think the referee deciding that the ball was in too close proximity and it was hit too hard for a call to come as a foul goes against Kai Havertz chasing back. Maybe a little bit overzealous to win that ball back, and it's Cardines who goes down and wins himself a free kick. Will Hughes on his haunches in the middle of the park, the veteran midfielder, just trying to suck some air into those lungs late on in this game. 94 minutes into the legs of the veteran. And so Oliver Glasner is just going to have a quick chit-chat with Mikel Arteta on the sidelines. Don't think there's going to be any shaking of hands just yet, but some maybe pleasant disagreements perhaps, or something like that. going on the sidelines as a free kick comes in for Palace, headed away, flicked away by Zubamendi, and out for a Palace throw on the near side as West Ham United full time. They have done their job. All eyes on Everton. I don't know how many minutes at a time have been given at Everton, but it might be a few.
Yes, I'll definitely be searching to see what the added time is. It looked for a moment that West Ham had scored a goal right at the death to make it 3-0, but that has been chalked off. But they've got the victory. They've done their bit. They just have to hope that Everton can do them a favour, which is looking increasingly unlikely.
Cardine's long throw-in is not the best. Goes straight onto the head of Gabriel. And it comes back out to the youngster. He's got space to run into down the left-hand side as well. Cuts back on his right foot, curls one into the far post. Header comes on goal, straight into the hands of Kepa Arrizabalaga. It's a good header, it has to be said, from Riyad. He's going away from goal. It's difficult, but it does enough to get it on target, but not enough to score. It's a cracking effort it would have been from Callum Wilson. I think an offside might have been called, similar to the Selhurst Park goal that was just chalked off for Crystal Palace, and West Ham perhaps just didn't do enough earlier in the season. Arsenal coming forward, chance for their third. Gyökeres across the face of goal, and he misses the target, and it won't be a third for Arsenal. 9 minutes of added time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Wow, well, that is big. That is definitely more than enough time for Everton to get a couple of goals themselves. But they need to score quickly if West Ham are going to start believing that maybe something could happen. But at the moment, Tottenham seems to be holding very, very firm.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to say that, just to make that, but it is 2 goals they need. They have to beat Spurs. They can't just draw. Spurs would be happy with a draw. Of course, as soon as one goes in, maybe the second one comes, maybe the nerves pick up. But Everton and their manager, David Moyes, former West Ham manager, of course, need to score very soon if there's going to be any nerves there for Spurs. They are looking like they're just going to hold on at present. Switch of play by Crystal Palace, skims under the feet of Cardines, out for a throw in. It goes for Arsenal. Hincapié comes across to take it. We're waiting for the final seconds of this long, arduous but rewarding season for the Gunners. They are already crowned champions, but the final whistle has to go for them to get their winner's medal and for them to lift the trophy, and we await that from referee Farai Halam. Martinelli square to the right for Zubamendi, coming forward for Arsenal. He turns back, goes back to Mosquera. He in turns goes back to Gabriel. He's dropped about 20 yards inside his own half. There's a joyous smile across every face in Arsenal colours. Rice and Ødegaard all stripped in their full kit, ready to come on for the title celebrations. It's Kepa from the back. He hammers it forward to the right-hand side. Zubamendi just hanging on for now. There's a player down on the far side of the field. It's going to go forward for Gyökeres, and coming across is Lerma. Gyökeres nicks onto it though, crosses it far post, and Eze can't seal the deal. Oh, it's saved by Dean Henderson. What an ending that would have been for Ebery Eze. Still Arsenal coming forward. Martinelli short for Eze again, looking square. He puts his head to the skies, wondering what could have been there. But for Dean Henderson, that's the final whistle. Arsenal are champions officially now with that final whistle. It's all over at Selhurst Park. On the day, it's Crystal Palace 1, Arsenal 2.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer,